Hausa people, of Fulani people, were people of that region who just came, surrounded them with guns, and took them to different areas. The police intervened and rescued them, and the kidnappers escaped.
You might even be surprised that somebody in there might know her.
Yes, and you know, the thought now is that people gave out the information before this happened. So when it comes to issues about security, it is upon all of us to protect the land. It's for all of us to report cases that are suspicious. It's not on one person alone, the police alone, to begin to investigate. We are also involved. When you see something that is not looking right, please be free. Don't hesitate to call the police. At that point, the police becomes your friend. If you leave it out there very strongly. When it comes to where we're trying to survive, the economy too is something that has not been smiling at many, and that's why people are engaging in crime. But I'll never approve of crime in any way. Whether you think that the best way to survive the hardship is by indulging in criminal activities, that's not the best thing after all. People have found that means people are cutting costs too. For instance, people are now learning how to manage how they live their lives. People have cut the number of meals they have.
Right.
People have also cut the number of places they subscribe. If you used to subscribe with cable TV, many people have stopped doing that lately.
They probably do YouTube now.
People have also reduced the internet because yesterday telcos were talking about 50% increase at the rest of them. It just keeps going higher and higher. We are confused about what's going on, but people are cutting costs. So this morning on Straight Talk, we shall look at something very wonderful. It's about cable subscription, cable TV. What do you think about it? What's going on really? Why are people running away from cable TV? Is it because of the economy or because you're not getting good service after all? These are questions.
When we come back, I think I have my own reasons as well.
All right. So let's go on Straight Talk. We'll be back shortly. Just stay with us.
J Mali make it juicy.
Hello, it's Street Talk on Delta Television, and I am Eunice Emeazia. Today we are looking at cable subscription. How many people are still subscribing to cable networks? And if you are subscribing, have there been any challenge in the process? We'll find out more from people on the streets. Come with me as we go.
I have Start Time, so I'm not subscribing to DSTV.
Do you still subscribe?
Of course I do.
Okay. When last did you subscribe, sir?
The last time I always subscribe at the end of each month. The last time I did subscription was last year December, and they gave me bonus or so for 2 months. You know, so that's what I'm still using till this moment.
So the decision of subscription, that's those who have increased their data, do you think it's affordable to everyone?
For people that have increased their, for me, I don't believe, because even if I have a better option, if I were to be using DSTV, you understand, I don't think I would still go for DSTV subscription, because that increment has made a lot of people to change, to switch from DSTV to other ones that they can be able to afford.
Okay. Is internet streaming cheaper for you, or do you think cable is better?
And if you are a family man, internet streaming, that's what you do with your phone. But being that you are using cable, you have kids in the house, you go to even after pressing phones, after sometimes you just use. I prefer using cable.
Okay. Do you get a satisfaction from the cable list?
Yes, I do. If I do up to the required amounts, I always sub at the end of the month. I do.
So this satellite dish. And,
No, I don't subscribe
okay.
again.
Come this side, maybe we get them.
No, my face
Okay.
is too.
No, don't worry, no go show.
I don't go sure. Okay.
Okay, you say you know they subscribe,
No, I don't subscribe.
but do you have a cable?
I have got DSTV, but for now, I don't subscribe it again.
Why did you stop? Why did you stop?
Sometimes the package I want, and at the same time light, so where I'm staying. So sometimes I will subscribe, no light for the full month, so the money will waste. So the problem is just NEPA.
Money not there anywhere again. The country, everywhere don't get as a bill. Nothing they happen for the state again. If not, it's good to subscribe before. But now money na be the thing.
But there is a particular cable that people normally subscribe. But now, most of the cable this thing is dropping drastically.
And for that cable of it, so I not can know what it can cost and when they drop now.
Which one do they use?
Me, my husband they subscribe now. DSTV will they use it. They subscribe every month. They subscribe.
So what you get the one where you say the thing they high now, the subscription they high.
It they normal as before now.
All right. Do you subscribe to their cable?
I do occasionally.
Okay. When last did you subscribe?
This December period I subscribe because my kids were on holidays. I exempt majorly when they are not on holidays to cost the cost of living also.
Okay. Do you get value for the subscription?
Not at times the network fluctuates. So because of the society we are now, we don't know where to complain to. I will say I don't get the value completely.
Okay. What do you think could be one of the things that will alter you from subscribing?
If there is an engagement in the sense that maybe there's a government policy or there's a drive for that local TV stations that can bring a particular state, a particular program that we can focus on, I think with that, there's no need to subscribe for all these DSTV cables. Because those are the way we have kids. There are programs they do bring every 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, engages us before even the area of this DSTV and so.
Okay, in terms of power supply, what can you say? Do you think it's one of those things that can stop or prevent people from subscribing?
Yes, I can say that. I can say because of unstable power supply, it amounts to that. Because you cannot say you want to buy fuel to start your generator because once you watch GoTV or DSTV also. It's among the reasons why people occasionally don't want to even subscribe if possible.
Okay, then in terms of the inflation of the price, what do you have to say?
The inflation of price is very wrong because what they give out it does not equate what the money is all about. If what you are giving, programs are there and the facilities are in stable condition, I don't think increasing the price will be the solution to it. At least you can bring it down. Some other countries like South Africa has heard, they go by per view. So if you bring it to this country, it will see assist. When you pay, you watch, you don't pay, it remains there.
Then social media, do you think there is any way social media has affected cable?
Yes, 70%. It has affected cable. Most of us use our phone to watch even movies with our phones. If we go to some station, we subscribe and watch with our phones without even going to watch those cable channels.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Do you still subscribe to cable?
Yes, I do basically. But it's not like the way it used to be. I do. Like for the one in my office, it's the one I subscribe to in my room. The one I have at home in my bedroom. When I'm coming to work, I bring it to work. So that I will not have dual subscription because the cost of subscription, and how many hours do we see? They should have done it pay as you watch. Like the way we have in our communication lines, the different lines we use for communication. Pay as you use. It's your usage that determines your payment. So I still, because I have to keep myself abreast with happenings through listening to news. I'm a sports aficionado. I must listen to sports, watch football. Today is the African Cup of Nations quarterfinals, semi-finals rather, between Nigeria and Morocco. And I love science fiction, discovery. There's some channels that are really quite important and are intellectual. Forget about the kids who must pay because of cartoons. So we just have to pay.
So what do you think could affect your subscription?
The major thing that could really affect my subscription is power. You see, when most times the reluctance of a lot of people to pay is the fact that there's no consistency in power supply. You won't be able to pay GoTV Max, for example. You pay 8.5, or you pay DSTV almost 18,000, and there's no power to watch it. Cost of fueling is quite exorbitant. The cost of living in Nigeria is quite exorbitant. So it puts the average parent under pressure. But because of the passion you have, that some people love the home video channels, some love sports, some love documentary, some love news channels. So it depends on your passion. Your passion is the prerequisite for the value you get and the quantity of number of channels you want to pay for.
Okay, sir. How have social media affected
Well, social media has reduced patronage because everything you look for on television now, you can get it on your phone. The phone is a mobile encyclopedia right now. Funny enough, a lot of people don't know. I watch Premiership, I watch any football from my phone. So it's not, I'm not restricted if I don't have data or if I don't have subscription, but I have data, I can still access anything that you watch on TV. DBS, I can access DBS on my telephone. I live stream most of the programs in your station, DBS. So suffice to say, social media is a complement for digital television. It's a great complement. In fact, it's a convenient complement because even if you're in the forest, in your farm, and there's data in your phone and there's network, you can access, you can listen to news. You're not missing anything. You are moving with both your television, your news station, and everything.
Your message to Cable Network?
Well, my message to cable network stations and providers is the fact that they should make it more liberal, like the way our telecommunications providers have made. They should make it like pay as you go or as you use. You pay for the value of usage that you have. Just pay. You have subscription. They say GoTV Max, GoTV Jolly. You pay, and most times there's no light to watch. There's nobody at home to watch. Children go to school as early as 7. They come back by 4. Same with the parents. So what time do you have to use? So they should make it more flexible, and you see more people would go to get their GoTVs active again. Most of the offices, if you go, nobody wants to subscribe. GoTV has expired, DSTV has expired. They are waiting for this one windfall. It's only that extra money that most people want to use to subscribe.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Well, they say seeing is believing. You can see my telly. It's not on. Why? Because I can no longer afford it.
Okay, ma, can you tell us how do you think the increment of the subscription can be reduced?
Yes, first and foremost, the increment should be reduced and it should be pay as you go. If you are not watching it, it should not be running. It should only run when you are watching it. Because in Nigeria here, you see that you pay for subscription, even when you are not there to watch it, it will be running. It's actually very discouraging. Now with the meager source of income, the economic hardship, a lot of people can't afford it anymore. Like you see, in those days, weekends, you want to on the telly for the children. Telly is educative, it's entertaining, and it brings family together. But at this particular time, a lot of family can't afford it anymore. If people in our status cannot afford it, then you talk about the downtrodden. The effect is actually very, very huge.
Okay, ma, do you think the social media is actually one of the causes of people not subscribing?
Yes, we'll talk about social media. Yes, social media actually contributed because you see that right now the world is going global. The world has shifted to social media. A lot of things we used to watch in the television are now on the social media, and everybody is on his or her phone. It's a mobile phone, so anytime you are with your phone, so a lot of people say, I can't be buying data, then be subscribing, because I read from my phone, I do a lot of things from my phone, then I would buy data, then I want to subscribe. So I think social media, secondly, really has effect on subscription.
On the angle of power, do you think it's one of the improvements?
Come again? Power supply. Yes, because there was a day a man was complaining that he doesn't subscribe anymore because you subscribe, no light to watch it, you don't have money to buy fuel, you cannot afford diesel, you don't have solar. So what's the need subscribing? Do you subscribe for what you will not watch. So I think power too has contributed to a lot of people not subscribing to the GoTV or cable network. Yes. Yes, my advice is you should reduce the price and make it pay as you go. When you watch, you pay. If you don't watch, the thing should not run. I think with that one, lots of people will be able to say, okay, let me take a dive and see how I can give my family a little bit of a good time.
All right, you heard from people on the street what they think about cable subscription. Now you can tell us, what do you think? While you answer that, I'll come your way again next week. I am Eunice Emiazia. Bye for now.
J Male make it juicy.
Delta Television, the people's pride, and of course we spoke to the people on the feature Street Talk. You see me asking them about cable subscription. Many had their thoughts, their 2 cents. The reason they're still there, or perhaps the reason they fled. Well, all the reasons they gave, strong reasons, and they are valid. Those who chose to run away for time's sake, and those who chose to run away for money's sake. But I don't know, Chizzy, before we went on Street Talk feature, she said she had reasons why she.
Yes, for me, I have my reasons. I've noticed that on cable, the only new thing that you get most times are newsworthy information. But you see, for movies, they keep repeating and repeating and repeating. Yeah. So yes, I don't think we're getting value for the money that we pay. You know, for some persons, they will tell you that, oh, it might be expensive, but we can still pay it. Yeah. But for some persons, they expect to get some value for what they're paying. Like for me, I want to see new movies, but I'm not seeing things like that. I think the only thing that I see are trending news, newsworthy information, and cable shouldn't just be about news, right?
Yes, yes. So, yeah. And I think that with the growth of streaming services like Netflix and the rest of them, people are beginning to have options.
Exactly, yes, yes.
Using the internet as a means to get entertainment, information, and education. Well, that was Street Talk. The appeal is that maybe the country should empower Nigerian entrepreneurs to have their own cable subscription. Remember that one time in this country, there was this talk about digitization, where every single local media house or homegrown media house will be in a particular box.
Yes.
So you can watch every station wherever you are.
Anywhere.
It means that we're in Delta State, you can see Kaduna TV,
Lagos TV,
Zaria TV. See anything you want to see.
Which would have been beautiful, by the way.
I don't know how that just disappeared and snowballed into nothingness. We hope that maybe that can be reactivated so that Nigerians can be aware of what's going on and get the stories from the scene. So when you hear that something happened in Kaduna, for instance, you can go see for yourself on Kaduna TV and not from any gigantic station in Lagos who might not have the exact narrative about the story. You know, that's all on Street Talk. Maybe I hope that you've learned a lot of it from it, and I hope you understand what to do better with your cable subscription.
And decide whether to subscribe or not.
Yes, well, the choice is entirely yours. When we come back, we shall look at the papers and see what's making the front pages. That's a paper review, and that's next. Ratchet Morning Right. Stay with us.
our paper analyst on set. We have this government special announcement. It is hereby announced for the information of the public, particularly parents and guardians of children between the age of 9 and 14 years, that the Delta State Primary Health Care Development Agency, in collaboration with donor partners, shall be carrying out the measles rubella vaccination exercise across the state from 31st January to 9th February 2026. To this end, the Delta State government wished to draw the attention of local government chairmen, councillors, traditional rulers, community leaders, faith-based organizations, local education authorities, and other community stakeholders to encourage their people to present their children for this all-important immunization exercise, as their leadership and voice can be a significant difference in ensuring that our children are immunized against this deadly virus. Now note, the vaccine is free, safe, and effective in preventing the outbreak of measles and rubella. I just want to say that this is very important. So if you have a child, please ensure to bring your child out for this vaccination. Now, the measles rubella vaccine, usually given as part of the combined MMR, talking of measles, mumps, rubella, is a safe and effective live vaccine protecting against these serious viral diseases, preventing severe complications like brain damage, pneumonia, and birth defects, with children typically receiving 2 doses during childhood, around 12 to 15 months, and 4 to 6 years for lifelong immunization through separate MR vaccines. Also, this especially for catch-up and specific needs. So usually when the child is born, you have these cards that the child is given for immunization. Now it's important to follow the immunization to the latter. You're doing your child a favor, especially if you want a healthy child and a healthy adult. So please avail your kids for this immunization. I remember my baby had worms, and I can tell you that she suffered a lot. And the thing about some of these diseases or illnesses is that they take their full circle. So it's better you prevent it than waiting for it to come, because the moment it comes, you have to wait for it to go its full circle before the child gets better. So please avail your child. It's free. You don't have to pay. It's totally free. All right, that's that and that. When we come back, it will be time for our paper review. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome again to Wednesday edition of the program Morning Ride, right here on Delta Television, the People's Pride. I hope you heard a lot about rubella vaccination. Don't get it from your children, and don't let the rumors get your mind devastated. Get informed. Stay right here on Delta Television, the People's Pride, to give you the actual information and not the rumors that you hear at all. We just help you out to verify on state level. You're watching Delta Television, the People's Pride. You heard the lady. We talked so strongly about rubella vaccination. Go out there and get vaccinated. Let your children get that vaccination. Do not rely on rumors verify information, not via social media, but around stations like this, Delta Television, the People's Pride. We look at the information, be sure that the information is actual, and then we'll read it out to you in the proper way you need to get it. Now, there are stories that have made the top stories all over the country, and they are the front pages of newspapers this morning, and that's why now we're going to look at the front pages of the papers. With us right here is Engineer Meshach Oza. A long time no see on the program, for me particularly.
Me too.
Happy New Year to
Happy
you.
New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you.
Welcome.
All right, we're going to look at several papers. How are you doing, Engineer Meshach?
Always a pleasure.
You're ready to rock and roll with the headlines?
Whatever.
All right. Always available. Now let's look at the headlines this morning. We have many of them to look at. The Vanguard, Daily Sun, This Day newspaper, many of them to look at. Chizzy, what was starting with?
Okay, so we'll start with the Daily Trust newspaper, and first headline we have here: adoption. Kaduna villagers recount ordeal. At the top there we have Desiani appears before UK court over alleged £100,000 bribe.
Wow.
That's a lot.
That's a lot again. Desiani again.
This unfortunate one in Benue says 6 drowned in Benue boat mishap. That's such an unfortunate story. Still on insecurity and unrest, 11 killed in Edo auto crash. This one by the side says PDP court dismisses Anyawu's suit after withdrawal. Lastly, this one here says varsity student commits suicide after losing 600,000 naira to betting. That's unfortunate. That's on page 17 on the Daily Trust newspaper. So to get more information on what those topics are talking about, please grab yourself a copy of the Daily Trust newspaper.
All right. Now let's look at the Vanguard newspaper this morning. The big story on the Vanguard newspaper says Kaduna names of 177 abducted worshippers revealed. That's on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Now, the Vanguard newspaper has got the names, the list of those 77 people. I almost feel tempted to read them all out. It starts with Samuel Nala and then ends with Peace Joshua. Those are the 177 names of people that CAN has provided. The riders are plenty. There's many riders here. One of them says 177 abducted, 11 escaped. CSW N Group reveals. Another says police station report confirms abductions. Now, that's confirmed it. Another one says attack occurred 1 week after 2.6 million naira ransom was paid for release of some villages. This is coming from sources. We have more riders. Rights group accuses security agents of blocking access. Abduction horrific, says US lawmaker. The name of the lawmaker is more to be precise. And then former Labour Party presidential aspirant, and now with another party now, Peter Obi, says another unfortunate incident. And finally, why we insist attack happened. This comes from Ayab. He is the Northern CAN chairman. This story is on page 34, and you can find the entire story first on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. In fact, if the Vanguard publishes only this story, I'm sure they'll be done for the day. Those 177 names are right there on the front page of the paper. I think we'll talk about that one and Vanguard's decision to put it that way. Now, at the top strip of the Vanguard newspaper, Nigerians spend $1.73 billion on foreign education, health in 6 months. That's on page 9. Nigeria spends $1.73 billion on foreign education and health in 6 months. Even our money begins to jackpot as well. Lots of the people. On page 12, impeachment. Assembly shuns Pandev peace panel in Rivers. When you hear impeachment, the first thing that comes to mind is Rivers State. On page 9, PDP crisis. Court dismisses Anyawu's case against INEC, Damagu, others. Stories on the bottom strip. Fire raises commercial buildings in Ikeja Computer Village on page 7. FG ups on collision course over NSITF levy hike. That's on page 8. And those are the stories making the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. At the top strip, I missed this one. Davos, FG targets less borrowing, more investments, coming from Wale Edu. That's on page 9. Those are the stories making the front page of the Vanguard newspaper.
Alright, the next newspaper we have here is the Punch newspaper. And the first bold screaming headline says, alleged terror financing. Malami faces long detention as DSS intensifies investigation. Now the writer to that story says, secret police signal tough stance, prepare court action to detain ex-AGF further as terror financing costs unfolds. At the bottom here we have businesswoman Ashimogo kicks as EFCC seeks $13 million for feature, and that's on page 3 of the Punch newspaper. We have this one that says DSS frees Ogun pastor associate after public outcry. On page 14 we have this one that says EFCC quizzes Benue officials over alleged 4.6 billion naira fraud. At the corner here we have domestic refinery move to cut petrol imports. That's on page 21. This one here says Nigerians spend 1.54 trillion on beer orders in 9 months. Again, that's a lot. That's on page 22. In a country where we say we don't have, by the way. At the top here we have this one that says FG doubles January bond borrowing to 900 billion naira. And in Zamfara, 5 soldiers, policemen killed in Zamfara ambush. This one here says Nigeria's ECOWAS export fall 13% after Sahel states exists. Okay, this and many more you can get on the Punch newspaper, so please do grab yourself a copy of the Punch newspaper.
The Nation newspaper is next. The Nation newspaper has the big headline here. Says, Edu, federal government will rely less on borrowing to drive growth. The writer says we will depend more on our own resources than continental, rather than on international institutions. Amen to that. At the top strip, IG deploys squad to rescue 177 kidnapped in Kaduna. Oh, that's interesting. The police earlier denied, and now they are going to deploy squad to rescue 177 people. Just by the side of that story, Nigeria produced 554.4 MB in 2005, says NUPRC. Missing Nigerian opera dancing in Liberia, says Arif. INEC declares readiness for FCT area council polls. And at the bottom we have 2 stories here. Court likely to seal government acquisition of Husseini's controversial UK house. The writer says no one has shown up to claim the house after interim for future order. And finally on page 6, death toll rises to 3 in Osun NURTW crisis. That's on page 5, and on page 6, finally on the front page of the Nation newspaper, INEC OK's campaign in Ekiti. Those are the stories on the front page of the Nation newspaper.
Alright, with us here is the New Telegraph newspaper, and the first headline here says 2027, Jonathan, others can contest, says PDP. The writer there says as party zones presidential tickets to South. Another writer here says former Vice President Nnamdi Sambo restates commitment to party. At the top here we have this one from Fashola saying, I am arrogant, don't have dual citizenship. Okay, at the bottom here we have 5 soldiers, one police officer killed in Zamfara ambush. These are many more you can get on the New Telegraph newspaper, so do grab a copy of the New Telegraph newspaper.
And now, the Nigerian Tribune. The big headline of the Nigerian Tribune says, Governor Yusuf defection, Kanu APC chiefs warn of forced marriage travails. The writer says Tinubu set to meet Kwankwaso after session with Yusuf. Barau Ganduje's role remain key issues. NNMP leader may get top government appointment. On the top strip, Edun advances Nigeria's interest in Davos. The writer says federal government will rely less on debt, focus on driving investment. On page 5. On page 26, Desiani's trial in $100,000 bribery case begins in London to last 12 weeks. 12 weeks of torture, that's about 3 months precisely. Other stories making the front page. Constitution review, we will begin close-by-close consideration January 27. This coming from the Senate. Underneath that story, state police special seats for women top list. State police special seats for women top list. Okay, that's reviewing the Constitution. On page 5, report reveals low awareness of Nigeria's 2005 tax law among business owners in states. That's very true. At the bottom strip, PDP presidential ticket open to all Southerners, including Jonathan. This comes from Turaki in page 3, and the writer says NWC visits Namadi Sambo. Court orders INEC to publish David Mark's ADC list for FCT area council election on page 4. And there's a health report here. Artificial saliva made from sugarcane promising solution for severe cavities. That's a report, and it's on page 27. Those are the stories making the front page of the Nigerian Tribune.
All right, so the last paper we have here is the Guardian newspaper. And first here, the first headline says Electoral Acts, gaps in e-transition, vote buying, sanctions spark, calls for reform. At the bottom here, we have Davos, Nigeria pitches fiscal discipline as EU leader condemns Trump's new colonialism. Another story here says presidency accuses IPOB of peddling Christian genocide propaganda. And the story here says courts orders INEC to recognize, publish ADC's list for FCT council election. And still at FCT workers strike continues as union faults government compliance claim. This one in sports says trial of driver in death of Anthony Joshua's friends adjourned till February 25th. The top here we have PDP chair meets ex-VP Sambo, says ticket open to Jonathan orders. And in Rivers Assembly shuns Pandev Peace Panel over Fubara's impeachment. I truly feel for Fubara this period. Okay.
All right. Let's get back to the studio and talk to the social commentator right here, a man called Engineer Moza.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Welcome.
Let's go to the Vanguard newspaper. The big headline on the Vanguard newspaper: Kaduna, names of 177 abducted worshippers revealed, and that's on page 5. Look at those names. 177 names, but they released 40 here. I'm sure that's for want of space. But Vanguard comes in there, bringing out those names to make it look real. Like yesterday, while on radio, we heard how the police denied, they said.
The police have never admitted.
This is not true. This never happened.
Police have never admitted to any reality unless the evidence is so overwhelming and the people have more of the evidence than the security agencies. There's a failure of leadership. I mean, Kaduna has been the epicenter of this kind of crimes, and you wouldn't tell me 177 people were moved, and there was no reaction from the Nigerian Air Force, no reaction from police on the ground, no reaction from other security agencies to forestall things like this. Not the first time it's happening, and this one, as it happened, I mean, what are they talking about? Surveillance helicopters. They should know where this location is. They should be able to to tackle this holistically. And now, when the U.S. president comes out to say Christians have been targeted genocidally, people will start looking at it from a religious angle, as religious bigots try to play religious emotions on it. But moving forward, that's a clear indication of what the months leading up to 2027 general elections are going to look like. The electorate, the people are going to become pawns on the chessboard of the political elite, who are going to use, and of course, the bandits are equally going to be political players for 2027. Hate it or like it, they are going to be political players for 2027, are going to be used as a gambit to achieve political ambitions amongst the politicians. So last about it all is the people that still suffer. So I think I empathize with the families of the abductees, and I think government needs to show more responsibility, more capacity moving forward. They need to show some sense of leadership and take full responsibility for their lack of commitment to security. It's the government's responsibility to take charge of security of lives and property, and of course housing. I mean, the constitution is quite clear there, so it's really very, very painful.
Yeah, it's painful. You can say that again. I want you to look at it from, I want to talk about it from the devil's advocacy perspective now. Let's say the police are the devils now because they denied first, and then they're coming to say...
The police seem to be like, they always look like conspirators.
Now, the question I'm driving at is, what is the drive? What's the better thing to do, really? The smarter thing to do? Because in this country where we know that America is watching, and the whole talk, we saw there way more.
The smarter thing to do is
America.
You see, we some of our state governors and the presidency, they are giving these bandits, these insurgents, this soft landing. How can the state government be negotiating? The lives of bandits have become more sacred, more important than the lives of the citizens. And you give them a leeway to have a say in the negotiation. They don't have any right. These are killers. They're bandits. There's no law for you to negotiate with bandits. I mean, they must do time for the crimes that are committed are criminal. So it's totally misplaced priority on the part of government. And I'm ashamed that someone like Sheikh Gumi is still moving free. It should be held culpable. I mean, most of the statements is made at treasonable statements.
The chief of defense staff
has come out to say no government. No state government should
he even mentioned Sheikh Gumi's name. He called them out. He said, "Look, you seem to be empathizing with."
I said we need to drastic action for drastic measures. These are drastic measures.
What is concerning about Kaduna now, Ajay, is that the attack occurred 1 week after 2.6 million naira ransom was paid for this of some villagers.
Besides that, it's just
going on there, right?
It's a continuum, and the police folds his hand, and they've not said anything about it. That's why most people think that police are culpable. I mean, some of our security agents are culpable. They have not shown capacity at all, especially police in Kaduna State. With due respect, I'm disappointed with the police formation of Kaduna State. They should take a cue from our Delta State Police Commander and so some of the police commanders we have here in the South, who are more proactive, who are more determined and detailed in intelligence gathering and reactive measures being taken to nip insecurity in the bud. But in the North, that's not what we're saying. We're seeing things that look like a collusion. How can something that is well evidenced, you come out to say nothing like that happened, only for you to come out and readmit that yes, there was actually an adoption? There's no public trust has been lost. And of course, the governors of the North, Kaduna, Katsina, Kanu, they have shown compromise.
Wasn't it Katsina where they released some bandits and they want to go and mix them back inside?
It's not certain. Let me tell you something. Who has killed before will never find it difficult to kill again. It will be very difficult to totally reform these people. They should the only reformation is for them to go to prison. If they have killed, they should face the death penalty. They should be killed as well. Let them know how painful it is. Let their families feel the pain. I mean, a certain person could just go kill the auntie and 6 of her children after the influence. You can see the kind of mentality they use in operating. Mentality without prejudice, mentality without thinking. They act before thinking. So, and the government is giving them. We are too religiously sentimental and emotional in this country. What is wrong is wrong. What is right is right. Who does a crime must do the time,
regardless of where they come from.
No matter where you come from, no matter the religion you of affinity that you are attached to.
Okay, Mr. Mesha, let's visit this story on the Daily Trust newspaper. It also happens to appear on the Vanguard newspaper. It's such a sad story. I'm talking about the varsity student who committed suicide after losing 600,000 naira to betting. Now, a 300 level student of the Department of Computer Science at the Ibrahim Badamosi Babangida University, Laba, in Niger State, has reportedly committed suicide. Just to summarize, according to what we read, this money, 600,000 that he used for betting, was given to him probably by his parents for house rent. It was supposed to be a house rent's money. Now, this is just coming to the fore, but behind the scene, a lot of things like this have happened. I'm talking about sometimes somebody told me a story of how two friends were watching football, and it turns out that one person lost the bet, and that person who lost the bet stood up and stabbed his friend. So we've had cases like this. What are your thoughts on gambling? I know that betting, people who have betting companies are making their money, but what are your thoughts on gambling?
Well, gambling is legal. Take it or leave it, it's legal. It's only illegal in a lot of Muslim countries, but in most countries in the world it's legal. It's a choice, and the choice is premised on, look, greed and avarice. When you are greedy, you want quick money, you fall this kind of prey. But when the society, now, if you look at that young man, he was pressured, let me just put this money. I think probably it was Manchester United, Manchester City match. He was hoping Manchester City was going to win, but they forgot there's a psychology in football. Manchester United just changed their coach. They have a new coach, so the motivation will be there, the mentality will be there, and the psychology will be there to change the tide. But however, moving forward, I think I will blame the government for the guy's death.
Do you think they should ban students from betting? Because research has shown that
Francis,
over 64% of children bet, and it affects them negatively.
It cannot.
There is a ban on 18-year-olds.
So they should not be able.
12 years. We did not see social media where 12-year boy was throwing money at the poolside.
Let me break this down.
Yes, please.
There was a time that a young man won a bet money.
People have won.
And he was below the age of 18. He was denied that money.
The money was finally given to him.
But he was denied that money first.
He will be given. Listen, there is no right for you to deny the money. Why the person was betting, you knew he was under 18. Why did you bet if you now he has won, you are denying it?
Shouldn't be a caveat saying that, you know what, if you are a student, you shouldn't bet. I've just said 64%.
Wait, if something, I'm coming.
60 million Nigerians.
Do we have policies in this country? Do we have laws that are applicable to such situations in this country? Do we have policies that are implementable in this country? How many of hoteliers reject children of 12 years, 15 years that come to lodge in their hotel? None. So I own a bet shop. I'm there to do business. What's my business about where it's coming? Nigeria is a lawless country. We must all transform this. I'm coming. Now we're looking at the situation where the problem in Nigeria today is governance. Our government has set the template for this. If the government was good, was taking charge of social responsibilities, education, the guys not under pressure, there's housing.
You won't need to bet.
You won't need to bet. The people that will now come in, the people, yes, about pressure. The people that will be bet will be compulsive. Most people bet because make us see whether I feed. Their parents have given them, I can only afford part of the house rent, or I can only afford go and hustle the rest. I'm betting sometimes. If you check, that guy probably has won some. He was won before that thing happened, and is lost at this time. So
let's call that lack of uncontentment.
However you want to look at, I blame government.
Let's look at that.
If the economy was good, and not everybody going to bet. People look at betting as let me tell you something. Some people you see as big boys driving cars in there. Go to some of these hotels now. They sit down with their laptop. You think that they are on Bet Nigeria platform. They are betting with big money, 20,000. You see them win. They are betting with big money. So don't be carried away with most of the people you see drive big cars. They are all into, majority of Nigerians are into betting.
Look at this boy's case. Precisely.
This boy's case
he has 600,000 naira
to pay rent.
Wait, did he tell you the money? Listen, did the parents come to tell you they gave him the money? Forget what you see on social media. On the news, yes. Forget what you see on the news. There's so much propaganda on the news. Forget what you have seen.
And the school has said that is outside university.
It's not about him now. Did the parents come to confirm that they gave him 600 naira? Even if your parents, there are people their parents give, the people that do most, are they from poor homes? People that do that do kidnapping or steal sometimes, are they from poor homes?
Is betting an addiction problem, or
betting is just betting. There are two extremes. No, there are two extremes to betting. Betting is both an addiction problem and a leeway for survival. The country we are in today, options are limited. So the betting is one of the options. Quick money, I'm sure bet. I mean, this. I know I've seen a lot of people being victims of, and you know, see, it's an addiction. Victims of addictive betting. Okay. And that's who this young man is. Okay. May so rest in peace.
Amen. But before we leave this matter, because it's sensitive to me.
It is sensitive. Hold the government accountable for the death of that boy. The government has failed in its responsibility. If the government had provided housing in the university, the guy would not go and collect 600,000 money from off-campus camp. If the government had provided security, maybe it wouldn't have been. I mean, there's so many. The government is my problem, not the boy.
Let's talk about this.
Yes.
You say government is the problem. Is government the same problem of young girls who use their school fees on their loving boyfriends?
I don't understand.
Because they have
their loving boyfriends.
Because you have seen several times. I have had instances in schools where girls or boys take their school fees and give it to their significant other in school. I don't know if they are significant in school. Just for love's sake.
No, if you look at check,
I want to suppose this to this situation where it is not a government-related issue.
I am telling you, see, no. Besides youthful exuberance, the government is culpable. The boy is culpable. Yes. The culpability is dual. Now, when you look at responsible governance, we're looking at the possibility of people understanding their responsibility to the people. Section 301, subsection 4 of the Constitution states it clear that it's the responsibility of government to provide so many other amenities, but they are lacking.
So, what's the role of? Now, let's talk about ethics, because you said Nigeria is legal.
We don't have ethics. Ethics should start from the leadership.
Let's talk about ethics. You're part of the betting company, because capitalists would make money regardless. Let's talk about ethics. What is the ethical responsibility of these betting companies? Knowing that things like this would happen,
it's not their business. You came to bet. If they had won, you know how much the betting company would have paid? They would pay. But that you lost, it is not. The betting company is a business, and they are licensed to do the business they are doing. So rule that out. It's not the business whether you lost or not. People have been winning millions and hundreds.
All right, let's look at that story. Now that we are talking about the government, let's talk about one person who was in government before and she really cashed out until she's now being caught around. Desiani appears before UK court after alleged $100,000 bribe. Remember, she started from Jonathan period, 2015, the EFCC, everyone going after her, and the rest of them. She's still hanging around court cases and the rest of them.
Desiani is a product of what she did to herself. If you look at listen attentively, you see in DBS television, for example, where most times we discuss the part of Desiani in the past. Yes. And when you look at the history of most of our political elite, you will come to understand the greed, the destruction they have caused this generation. Most of them that have looted this country in large quantum, and that is the decay we are seeing today. And Nigerian politicians, they live the life like they were never going to die. Like everything they ever wanted, everything would always remain at their beck and call. How can you? I mean, if you know, that is just the tip of the iceberg. If you know the looting under the stewardship of Desiani in the petroleum ministry, you whip. I don't want to name names. I know someone or two. I mean,
it's okay.
It's
painful. I'm going to turn off that mic on that part. Since you don't want to go into that. On the front page of the Nation newspaper, Edun, since you're talking about the government, federal government will rely less on borrowing to drive growth. Let's make this very clear that Nigeria has historically relied heavily on external borrowing, with debt rising from $10 billion to over $100 billion just last year, 2025, or should I say last month, because last year is December 25, last month. And it just keeps going on. Are you confident that the government will do this thing that one or two is saying, where they rely less on borrowing to drive growth?
That's the only way. You see, unfortunately, we're not even supposed to be borrowing as a country. I mean, I remember the First and Second Republic. Nigeria was well blessed. The regions had enough natural resources. We had cash crops, we had food crops. I mean, each region had exportable crop. This region, different states were exporting. In the Midwest, we're exporting rubber, we're exporting palm oil, we're exporting a lot. And in the Kola North, in the Southwest, They were exporting cocoa, getting refined chocolates and Bonvita and Milo, you name it, back to the country. In the north, the Granite Pyramids, where they were exporting hide, cotton, stuff like that. So when you look at all this coal,
we should be borrowing the United States of America.
We should. We have more natural resources than the United States. Believe what I am telling you. This banditry you're seeing in the northwest is because of the natural resources there that they are fighting over, fighting for control. Why is the government? They are all focused more on the oil that is destroying our habitat here, and meanwhile there are better and more natural resources that will help this country. Why we shouldn't be borrowing as a country? We should be a lender nation. Every state in the southwest should be able to have their own private refineries. I must tell you that. But unfortunately, because of the selfishness of our leaders, the greed of our leaders, the octopusal looting of our leaders at all levels, we are pushed to this state where we become what we are today as a country. So Nigeria, and most times they borrow for election, but they give it a name. You want to kill a dog, give the dog. They borrow to prepare for election. They borrow to rig election. They borrow to sponsor banditry. They borrow not for necessities, but for frivolities.
Okay, on the Vanguard newspaper, we have the story here that says Nigerians spend $1.73 billion on foreign education, health in 6 months. Now, let me take you back a little bit, Mr. Meshach. Now, this one says, of course, Nigerians spend significant amount on education and healthcare abroad, with figures reaching tens of billions over the last 10 years. Now, this is driven by dissatisfaction by local systems, leading to medical tourism and brain drain. Now, key figures say that $40 billion in a decade, talking about from 2010 through 2020, Nigerians spent over $40 billion on foreign education and healthcare. Now, this is according to CBN Governor Oluyemi Cardoso. Now, the reason, and of course, there is rising costs, medical tourism, education exodus. Now, the reason for this increased spending is due to poor local infrastructure, weak health care system, desire for stability. And this has impacted on Nigeria, causing brain drain and pressure on the Naira, which is very worrying.
I could be worried. What has the government done to improve the healthcare system, the educational sector? What have we done?
They're not fighting to go on and off strike.
How many of the people in government have their children in our local schools? And let me tell you something. Most of them in government till today are products of government scholarship in arts university. They went to university, first generation universities, UI, Ahmadu Bello University, University of Benin, University of Lagos, University of Ife.
So you're talking about
UNM,
leaders.
yes.
Okay.
And at that time, most of them were there on scholarship. At that time, most of them had meal ticket. The hostels were working. Most of the hostels have not been refurbished since the 70s till date. And now, the same people who've enjoyed the privilege of a nation that was so blessed, but now you don't want another generation to enjoy. When it gets to their own children time, they send them abroad on taxpayers' money. A certain governor even paid ahead. So until people are held accountable, people are sent to jail for wastages, for looting public funds, we won't get things right. We keep these two sectors you're talking, besides defense, and get the best budget every year. Education and health sector. What is happening in the educational sector? Certain things. How can a country be so blessed, but seem so unblessed that in an accident scene, there was no stretcher, no ambulance to carry anybody.
They were saying God will protect you.
I mean, our response. How can we have a health response system in this kind of economy that a building burnt and collapsed, that for days, 4 or 5 days, some people were still alive and they were not rescued? 3 brothers died. Which is this a country where you believe in? This is not the vision of a Nigeria that I dreamt of as a kid, as a young man. This is not the vision of Nigeria. The leaders have failed me, they have failed my children, and they have failed my generation.
Okay, now you said that many of the leaders, they went through a very good healthcare and educational system as well. So what is the solution? Should we not say that as a politician, don't send your child abroad?
Not people should the solution is that I will tell you the solution. People should go to jail for stealing. if they know people are going to jail, the monies that are invested for the educational sector will work in the educational sector. The money that are, if you loot from the health sector, you loot money that are budgeted for reforming teaching hospital, you go to jail.
I'm not going to jail. The former civilian governor.
These are comfort jail. When they stay in jail, the crimes, the common criminal will steal something in Obogonogo, they are given 25-year sentence and we sell it. With hard labor, we sell the 25. Somebody that loots our collective commonwealth, going to billions of dollars, different currency looting, they will give him 5 years with an option of fine of 500,000. But they all, even if without option of fine, after a year, a certain governor will go and give the person pardon, or a certain president will pardon the person. Is that the justice system that we have?
All right, talk about justice. On the Punch newspaper, front page, alleged terror financing. Malami faces long detention as DSS intensifies investigation. The writer says, secret police signal tough stance, prepare court action to detain ex-AGF further as terror financing case unfolds. This will be our last.
No, it's an unfortunate situation. I mean, these are, in as much as Malami is a thief, has been adjudged to be a thief.
He has not been a thief.
No. Alleged to be a thief. I am so disappointed. So that look, you know why I call them with impunity? Because these people, they steal without thinking. They just steal like if there was a possibility that money can elongate your life or give you life unto eternity, you wouldn't die. Most Nigerian politicians will suffer. Now we go to die on behalf of them. So what am I saying is this: you see, the justice system should not be selective. There are people with the kind of cases of Malami. The DSS and the EFCC should open more kind of ones. There are some people that are still in the corridors of power, maybe because they have gone to the ruling party, their cases have been subpoenaed. Everybody must be held accountable for looting this country dry, because Nigeria is our country and we must all collectively make it work.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Engineer Meshach. Also, we've looked at some of the headlines this morning. Do grab yourself a copy of the paper so you can keep abreast and know what's going on in your country. And if you don't know what's going on, stay mum. Don't talk, go read and get informed. Morning Right continues shortly. Interviews, wonderful conversation only on Wednesday's edition of the program, Morning Right. Just stay with us. If you've been watching Delta Television, The People's Pride, we have been showing you some of the wonderful projects embarked upon by the incumbent governor of Delta State, His Excellency, Governor Sheriff Francis Uborewori. Great projects. Yet, regardless of what you do, questions have been asked about the things you've done, whether they are great or they aren't great. That is why this morning we had to go call someone who is right there as part of the government and in charge of the media. He's Executive Assistant to the Governor on Media, and he's right here with us to talk about these projects embarked upon by the governor. I'm talking about Dr. Nelson Eguare. It's good to have you right here.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, Deltons.
Yes, good morning. Last week, we saw the governor had a groundbreaking. The ground around Ughelli shook. People danced. People celebrated. Kings were almost going to do Atilogu dance all around Ughelli, Otowolo Junction precisely. It's going to change. That's not good. It's kind of a junction where we're going to throw 3 eggs and perform any kind of fetish. That will be the junction where we'll see something very symbolic, a wonderful flyover project. And while we're talking about that with pride and vigor, this week, the governor decided to do more according to his agenda. He went to the land of Agbo, Uromi, and did another one again. If we're talking about 39, he went 59. Did a big project.